here, as they say. Let's get this show on the road. We've got almost 50 challenges already. Amazing to see, as usual. Ooh, strong opponent right off the bat. Checkmate 3-1, 4-1. This is a 3-0 game. We like to see that. 3-0 casual. You can challenge me to rate it as well. So if you guys want to have a free crack at my rating, well, not completely free, because you guys risk points as well. But if you want to crack at my rating, go ahead and challenge. Are we going to see a Gingy Indian right off the bat? I love this opening. A lot of people kind of hedge here and play knight f3 or e3. What's up, Rohan Kumar? Hello, Polar Cow. Fit Tony. Yeah, knight f3. There we have it. I'm not really afraid of this variation, though, because I already think black's pretty comfortable here. The position's probably about equal. Hello to our YouTube viewers as well. Blurson Image, I see you. What's up, Riemann? Are you the famous Riemann hypothesis? I think you are. Let's play knight h6. I have this desire to put the knight here a lot of times in these positions and then send it to f5. It's probably not strictly the best approach, but I kind of like it. Hey, Belgian Novice. Good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in today. All right. L2 Mohawk, L2 Mohawk, I think it is. Okay, let's go here. Put some pressure down on the b2 pawn. If rook b1, I can take perhaps, although then there is bishop takes h6. Okay, so now I think I want to improve this knight. Looking for knight d4. And let's see if white plays e3. I kind of get the sense that they will. Yep, guard the d4 square. And now white's a little bit cramped, but then again, they're going to develop pretty soon here. So I'm thinking about bishop a6 and then maybe d5. I'm thinking about queen a5. I'm thinking about queen b6 perhaps as well. I feel there's some correct order of moves here. Let's start with bishop a6. Yeah, I might just go ahead and play d5 after this move. I know white's going to go rook d1 more than likely, but it somehow feels like the right approach. Let's use the pin. Rook d1, e6, just kind of firm things up. There's also this move, which I'm now looking at, but I think bishop d2 is kind of a tidy reply. So yeah, let's just go ahead and play e6. I like how these pawns kind of complement my dark square bishop on the diagonal here. Bishop of one color, pawns on the opposite color complex. Okay, bishop b2. And now I'm probably looking to move this queen. Like queen a5. It might be time for the queen a5 move. Anything else to consider? Knight d6, perhaps? Nah, let's go queen a5. It's nice and active. I think white might be able to semi-solve their problems with knight a4, but I still like my position, ultimately. White takes, okay. So I feel like that trade of the pawns ought to benefit me because I get a free chance for this move now. Just looking if there's anything superior to that. It's a free tempo move. Let's play it. Expecting queen d2 here. Queen d2, and yeah, let's swap. Let's go from there. Knight d6, bishop a4, bishop f8 maybe. Bishop f8, a little fancy though. I don't know. Let's do this one. We'll play that capture and then knight d6. I think I just have a modest advantage here. It's nothing crazy. Modest advantage. I'll take that. We'll play the rook into c2. Again, I like how, even though there's been some trades, I've retained some pawns on light squares. This time it's playing against the light square bishop for white is the big theme. Yeah, we usually do get above 50 challenges. That is correct. Aggressive move there. Interesting one. All right, so take. What is checkmate going to do? Rook a7. Rook a7. Very aggressive. However, I'm up a pawn now, so I like my chances. Rook f5 perhaps, or rook d5. That might have been a bit of a panicky decision by my opponent, but we'll find out. Because you hate to go passive here with this move. If you do that, it's not looking too hot. But I have 33 seconds. This is huge. I want to start Lichess plays off on the right foot for me in terms of getting a win. All right, throwing a check. This is pretty standard stuff. Take here. Threaten the mate. Let's go pick up another pawn and threaten mate in the process. I think this pretty much compels a trade. Okay, we're liking this. Let's bring the king up. Start advancing. Slowly advancing. You know? Okay. And checkmate resigns. Yeah, this endgame is losing. The pawns are rendered immobile pretty much. And I've got a slow wall of pawns advancing. Might have been a little tricky with 21 seconds, but I think I would have got the job done there. Play these forward. Gradually advance. Maybe target G3 if white gets too frisky with their king. Thank you for the game, checkmate. Interesting one. Yeah, looks like the engine does not approve of what I did with E6. It's roughly equal, or maybe black slightly better up till that point, and didn't like that move, even though it seemed pretty solid at the time. Why not? Bishop A3. Bishop A3 hitting the rook. Rook E8, rook C1. Okay, so it likes that as a slightly better way of coordinating. Yeah, I get the sense you probably should not have inserted this trade as played. Yeah, knight A4. The immediate knight A4 is better. Because by trading first and then doing that, you kind of gave me this tempo move for free. Totally gratis. And then I think this is somewhat of a difficult ending. I mean, black has a really solid position. White has a majority here, but it's quite tough to advance the pawns for white. Also, black controls the only truly open file in the position. Thanks for the game, though. Good one to start out our session today on Lichess Plays. Frenetic Pawn, you're up next. And once again, greetings to everyone. If you're just tuning in, this is a weekly event, sometimes even more than once per week. And I look forward to it every week, battling you guys. So just a recap of what we're doing here. I'm playing viewers for the next 2 hours in 3+0 Blitz. It has to be 3-0 Blitz if you want to challenge. It can be casual or rated. My username is Fins. If you're on Twitch, you will see Nightbot dropped a little link there for the challenge. You can actually just click that, and it'll easily allow you to challenge. You might have to tweak the time control, but it should pop up as the direct challenge at least. And if you're on YouTube as well, we do have a command. Yes, Nightbot on YouTube. Also put the command right in there for you. What's up, Edward Reynolds? Forkosaurus asks, have you ever lost the first game before in Lichess Plays? You know, that's a great question. I don't think so. I don't think that's happened before. At least I do not recall. And I think the most number of games that I've lost in a session has been 2. I believe that's happened once. Let's go here. We'll target this bishop. You should play Catfish Days this year. That's a reference to a tournament here in my state of Minnesota. I've heard that tournament's pretty fun. I've actually never played it. Yeah. I'm toying with a return to over-the-board chess, but man, it's intimidating. The last tournament I played was in 2019, and I guess I'm not so much worried about other players. I'm worried about how rusty I would be personally. Because I know that chess continues to evolve. Young players continue to come up, and they're always tough. And, you know, the rating lists have some turnover. Players that you had no clue about a few years ago suddenly rise up the rating list. That's just inevitable. But this has been the longest period of time, I think by far, that I have not played a tournament, an over-the-board tournament. So I'm a little apprehensive about playing at the moment. I probably need a few months to get ready, to feel good about it. Okay, bishop e3. Maybe I should have taken that a little earlier, but I don't know. Okay, let's just go rook c8. This position's pretty calm. Not a whole lot going on. Play queen a5. Kind of like I did last game, just target the knight. Maybe rook over. Yeah, exactly. Like, weekend tournaments are a lot less of a commitment, aren't they? When you can play 5-6 games and there's not a whole lot at stake. Those are fun. I agree. Target the queen. So queen b3 will be the answer. Frenetic pawn's playing well here. Let's go queen b4. Is there a long queue to play? Over 50 challenges, but I would recommend challenging nonetheless, even if there's some doubt as to whether you'll get a game. Hello, Lapare. Greetings to you, one of our mods in the chat. Do I follow the Tour de France? Tour de France? No, I do not. I have absolutely no idea who the top riders are, cyclists. That is outside of my wheelhouse. All right, let's go here. If b5, I can go knight a5. So let's at least try to challenge Frenetic Pawn as to how best to play the pawns forward. You could vlog your tournament journey if you decided to do it. Hello, bro, by the way. Good to see you in the chat. Yeah, you know, I've thought about that to some degree. I have some ideas, like if I were to return, how I could make content in like a smart way that would also ideally allow me to perform well too. It's quite challenging. You gotta think quite carefully about what you're doing. If I take here, there's knight e5 at the end. I don't like that, so I might go here. Things are sharpening up though, for sure. If rook here, maybe bishop b2, and what is happening? What is going on in the position? Okay, let's take here. Frenetic could take this one now. And do I take the bishop, or do I move my bishop? Or do I move my knight, more likely? I don't know. It's an interesting question. I feel like probably taking here is the right way. But I'm looking for any sort of trick. I don't really see one. I think knight b3 is pretty much the only other move. Yeah, so let's take. We'll go knight b3 now. I'm going to get Frenetic Pawn on time, but as I said, Frenetic Pawn's playing great. So kudos to them. I think I'm going to get them on the clock. Hello, Texas Time Chess Monkey. Yes, thank you. Thank you for tuning in and supporting today. Nope, we're not playing a simult. This is just normal play. Ooh, and this is a blunder take. The old backward knight move. Got Frenetic Pawn, but they had no time. Hey, really good game. Really, really good game. This was maybe even slightly better for you around about here. Your pawns were kind of oppressive. Not frenetically placed as well at all. Quite well placed, I'd say. Maybe b5. I have a feeling you probably shouldn't rush that move. I think it'd be better to chill with the structure here. Maybe play c5, if anything, later. I can see why you went for it, because that a7 pawn looks tasty, but these two are hanging. That said, I think bishop b6 is a great rejoinder. I was hoping for rook a1 so I could go like here, is what I was thinking. Apparently this move's also good. How does that work? Take, and then you don't take the bishop. Then play this move. I guess there's a lot of targets. Okay. Yeah, but you handled this admirably. And, I mean, maybe black has a little something at this point, but it really didn't feel like much in the game. So GG. Good game, Frenetic Pawn. Thank you. Okay, who's up next? Chef Master, 2257. Have we played before? No. You got your wings, though. You're a Lichess patron. Always great to see. Supporting Lichess. Let's play d4, d6. Maybe I'll try to mix it up a little bit today with the openings that I'm playing. We shall see. Okay, so some sort of pseudo-tromp. I'm going to go c6. I'm not 100% sure how to handle this. I think I've looked at this vaguely in the past. Frozen Cloud asks, have I ever played Entitled Tuesdays? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. It's been a while. Amon Hamilton just returned to OTB chess for the first time. Yeah. Shout out to Amon. I did see that. He's playing the Canadian Open. Hello, Basid, by the way. I see you, Basid, longtime viewer. Greetings to Robert, tuning in from the Netherlands. I know we got a lot of Dutch viewers. Thank you very much. Netherlands is a pretty strong chess country, I got to say. I think per capita, I just get the sense the Netherlands has quite a strong scene. You should do Halloween Gambit. It's an interesting one. Okay, Queen C2. So we're kind of in a funky position here. Thinking about chasing down this dark square bishop. Even though that bishop is probably not the best for white, it's still potentially valuable to go capture. So I think I'm going to do that. I think white might occupy the center, e4. That seems pretty likely. I had a game that I streamed on Lichess a few days ago, very similar to this. It's against a user called Terminal, if they happen to be watching. Now, I just got to watch d5 at all times just to make sure I don't get too cramped. Yeah, so this knight takes g5 is not a threat because I have this in reply. However, I still might want to take because it may be hard to find moves otherwise. Maybe queen c7 here. Might be the way to go. I'll wait one more move before deciding. It's just annoying to have this hanging over your head if you're playing the white pieces here. So we both ended up retreating our queens. Maybe I can expand on the queen side at some point. Usually white will castle king side, even though there's a potential for a capture. I would doubt that white castles this way, maybe, but it does not seem most likely to me. Okay, a4. Okay, let's play a5. Bit of a standoff at the moment. I got my coffee. That's right, Polar Cow. Busting out the MJB emote. Okay, b4 is very aggressive. That is an aggro move. Okay, I think it's time to take. Let's capture. Because I'm looking at busting this diagonal open, perhaps. At minimum, maybe taking queen b6. Like, I kind of like the look of that. But also c5 starts to catch my eye. Let's take once. We'll go here. So target these pawns. Yeah, I could take now. I could capture or play the c5 move. I could also maybe take here. That might be cleanest, actually. Take, take, take. Nah. Nah, let's take this one. Let's go after that rook. I'm also hitting f2. Yeah, I think white rushed that. That was a rushed operation by my opponent. Now I can pick this pawn up. Hit the queen. I think that should be good. Am I going to violate the never play f6 rule? I might play f6 here, folks. I might do it. I don't see why not. Let's play it. If check, fine. Just king f8, king g7. Okay, so white castles. Now, I do have to be a little careful because my queen could be in danger. So let's go here. And I need to hurry. Need to play faster. This is going to be tough. Definitely winning, but will be tough. Concentrate, John. Ay, ay, ay. Ah! Nice, Chef Master. Good game, good game. I couldn't get it in time. Too fast. GG. Too fast for me. Yeah, it took me a little bit of time to coordinate my defense right around here. I paid the price on the clock. I thought you might try to sneak in e5 somewhere, like something like this, and get the queen here, but I think I always take with the knight and defend the g6 point. So, yeah, I think out of the opening, this is probably completely playable for both sides. Just a flexible position. But maybe b4 was rushed. Let's see what the computer thinks about that. I'm curious about that move. Oh, yeah, Engine hates that move. I didn't actually notice that this would have been a lot simpler. G4. Advance and attack the knight, which is in turn defending. Defending. Oof, yeah, G4 is really good now. So I actually didn't even need to go through the pain of playing bishop takes d4 and having the queen defend. The slight annoying pain. B-pawn was hanging? I don't think so. Not sure what moment you mean. Problem with b4 is that it weakens d4, because after the trade, that's the pawn that becomes loose. Okay, thanks for the game. GG. I take my first L of the day. Can there be a second L? Oh, Scandy. All right, all right. Let's see which variation HM95 plays. Okay, very early bishop f5. So that can perhaps subject black to an attack if black's not careful. I'll try to play aggressive here. E6, yep, smart move. I like that. Let's go d4. Oh, you like that, Twitchy? Yeah, I posted a picture of a sandwich I had last night at a brewery around here. It was enormous. It was an absolutely enormous fish sandwich. Truly a unit. That's why you never play f6. Maybe that's the reason I lost. Hello, Kathleen. Good to see you. Yes, thanks for tuning in. We're accumulating the viewers. Okay, heading for b5, it seems. Now, I probably don't want to play a4 because I'm castled on this wing. It's just not so great to play that move when you're castled that direction. I'm thinking about d5. d5 really appeals to me, so let's go for it. I'm going to allow b5 and then hope to pull the bishop back and later unleash the captures on this diagonal or open things up in the middle. Yeah, I love it. I love that my opponent's playing the Scandy. You can't beat that. Yeah, I think black should have carried on with the plan here, actually, because now knight takes d5 looks kind of dangerous for black. Maybe still fine if black goes knight d7, but it's a bit uncomfortable with the pins, at least for the time being. Ooh, bishop e7. That's not going to cut it because black gets exposed here. Black's trying to break the pin. That is admirable, but it runs into too many tactical issues. And now we're going to scoop the material. It's unraveling quickly for our friend HM95, unfortunately. And this is checkmate, next move. All right, thank you for the game. Let's take a quick peek. I think you might have been all right here. This is a key moment when I advance d5. Like, part of the reason I played this is that it is a challenging move. You know, it demands a fairly specific, narrow set of replies, I think. You know, as you can see, the engine does like white, but e5, interesting move, trying to keep things closed. I guess if takes, there might be a pin issue. What about b5? So b5, I was planning this. The engine is a savage, though. It says no. g4, double down. The engine says you can play your knight pawn forward 2 squares. I can do the same on the other wing. Okay, I could say the chances that I would play g4 in response to b5 are close to 0. Yeah, the engine is just a complete savage. It says, ignore what's going on over here. We want to play for our own attack. And stuff like this, if this were to happen, this is also a disaster for black with the pin. But I'd say after bishop b3, black still has a decent chance of playing this for sure. And probably the last chance, knight takes d5, is keeping your bishop firmly on the d file. So keep it there. I would have played knight bd7 here. Yeah, it looks like rook he1. That seems pretty normal. White's somewhat better, but this is very much a game at this point. So always, always, always watch those alignment issues. Even if there's a bunch of pieces in the way, 1, 2, 3 pieces in the way, a rook lined up with the enemy queen, major tactical signal. You always got to watch for discoveries and the file opening up. Ellen Nilsson, thank you for the raid. 66 viewers coming over from Ellen's channel. Greatly appreciate it. She streams on Lichess all the time, I see. So thanks again. We just kicked off Lichess plays about 25 minutes ago, and I already took a loss. I already took an L against Chef Master. So Polar Cow, you're up next. Let's do this. Getting a lot of d4 today. Interesting. Okay, what have I not played? Let's play the Clarendon court defense. Polar Cow's not cooperating, though. d5, f5 is what I was hoping for. It's hard to get an interesting game against this move, to be honest. I should know because I play that myself sometimes to really just deaden the play. Oh, well, thank you, Korshalam, or Korshaladun. That's very kind of you to say that. What's up, Yanni Gogo? I see you on YouTube as well. Says, hey, John, been on the road a lot, but I'm back here watching you. I'd love to hear it. Hope your travels have been great. Real solid setup by White. Kind of a London type setup with the bishop inside the chain, so we have like more of a Kali system. Let's go d5. Is it Kali or Cole? How do you pronounce that system? I never know. I kind of just alternate the two until someone corrects me, and no one else seems to know. Kali or Cole? Like Kali? That doesn't help with the pronunciation. First one is what I say. Yes, that's what I've mostly heard. Like growing up in the U.S., when people referred to that system, they always said Kali. But then I've heard other people say Cole. That's Castle. This looks like a Rubinstein French. We've kind of transposed into a different system. Now this bishop is open, so I kind of like that aspect of it for Polar Cow. But watch for some stuff to get traded in the middle. What if it's Cole? You might be onto something there. Ooh, all right. So this move, always interesting. Knight takes e4, bishop takes e7. I could maybe throw in... all right, well, let's take. I'm very curious how Polar Cow's going to recapture here. This could get interesting, folks. I so badly want to play something like knight takes f2 or knight takes c3. Because I'm really curious how Polar Cow's going to reply. Should I do it? Should I do it? You guys know the drill on Lichess plays. If I'm in doubt, I'm going to do it. Let's try. So don't try this at home unless you've calculated out the sequences. This is a classic in-between move sequence. I had a viewer one time who wrote to me, and they actually called these situations competing threat scenarios, which I thought is like a good way to describe it. So we're both trying to create the greater threat and enforce our will via this capture sequence on the enemy. You know, but when you're, especially when you're the one playing the asymmetric capture first, like they capture something and you don't recapture and reply. You know, here I guess you can consider it both players because I took the knight on e4 and White responded with this. But really both players like have to know what's going on. Okay, now here I was thinking this and attack the bishop. Could go here too, but I might just be able to do that unless there's bishop b5 in reply. Bishop b5 looks interesting. So perhaps I should, in fact, play rook e8. Let me consider one more moment. Take bishop b5, rook e8. My knight is kind of trapped over there. Yeah, let's play rook e8 to start. Ah, okay. So there. Okay, now let's take this one. I have 32 seconds left. This is how I lost to Chef Master. Just know I have your guys' best instructive interest in mind. That's why I spend so much time explaining what I think is going on as the game is going on. All right. You see, though, White lost a piece in that sequence. It's very easy to get confused. But Polar Cow actually lost an entire piece with that sequence of moves. Bishop takes h7 was the move that did them in. Okay, let's push. Take. Open this bad boy up. Now I just got to convert. Bishop e5. Yeah, we'll check that move. I'm curious about that one. I think Black was actually doing pretty well against that. But I am curious about it. We'll see. Because I could always counterattack the bishop with a6. But yes, White could have tried bishop b5. And then like induced a6 or something along those lines. Let's take here. So if take, knight e3. We're just harvesting the material now. Let's try to create a little mating net. A mini net. Ah! Oh, I made it. GG. Thanks for the game, Polar Cow. That was closer than I would have liked. Thank goodness that Lichess doesn't penalize you for pre-moves, huh? I probably had mate somewhere. Let's see. Rook takes g2. Where was rook takes g2 possible? That's what I was trying to set up with this move. I didn't see where I missed mate, though. Very possible I had mate later, somewhere around here. Oh, yeah. I had rook c1 right here. I actually didn't need to capture. Because the knight was controlling these squares. Yeah, after rook takes g2, yes. Yeah. That's true. I don't know what I was doing here. I was trying to be too fancy. I didn't even take the pawn. Like, cardinal rule of time scrambles, always secure the draw. And I almost failed to do that. I was trying to create some sort of net. I can't explain why I did not play rook takes a2. All right, thanks for the game, Polar Cow. Let's check that real quick. We won't go through the entire analysis here. But suffice it to say, knight takes e4 invites some complications. Yeah, because if bishop takes, then bishop takes here, take e7, and this is yet another capture versus capture situation, competing captures. Bishop takes f3, in-between move, saving the bishop, taking a piece. Black's currently up a minor piece, and if white recaptures, I take this one. And black remains up a minor piece. So Polar Cow played it correctly with bishop takes e7, and the computer says I should just take back. So what is best after knight takes f2? Okay, bishop takes d8, knight takes d1. Played it correctly. Okay. Yeah, and this is where the mistake occurred. Bishop takes c5. So the engine says, okay, simply retreat the bishop. And I'm going to guess knight takes b2, bishop b5 actually does see the both knights really in trouble here. Yeah, now that the position is staring me in the face, I can see why. Because preserving your bishop means I can't even put my rook here. Another thing, even if I could, and let's say you couldn't capture for some reason, I think this might still be an issue because a6, you have bishop takes d7. So that's kind of what I was inviting by playing knight takes f2. So it looks like that's a mistake. I was also thinking about knight takes c3. That's kind of the same bucket. Both those moves are bad, though. I should have just captured. Real interesting, though. Be as certain as you can be under the time constraints when you go into these competing capture scenarios. Thanks for the game, Polar Cow. DJ Hugs, you're up next. Good luck to you. Again, a d4 game. Let's play knight f6 this time. Should I play a Budapest? Let's play a Budapest Gambit. Where are my Budapest Gambit players? I know you guys live for the smothered mate that can happen out of this. Who's my favorite GM? You know, let's think about active players. I mean, boring answer, but definitely Magnus. I would say definitely Magnus of active players. I think there's a lot of up-and-coming grandmasters, though, that are playing very interesting chess. I'm really liking Hans Niemann's games. Every time I see, his play, I'm always paying attention because he always does interesting stuff. And a lot of the young players, they push the boundaries in the openings. They spend a lot of their time on openings. You can tell they've trained with the engines quite a bit. So I like paying attention to some of the best junior players. Speaking of, shout out to Gukesh. Gukesh D from India. He just crossed 2,700 FIDE. That's massive. Thank you, Nature, for the prime. Okay, let's take here. We get the pawn back. White's playing some no-nonsense moves, some good moves, I'd say. Can I take here? Should we go for it, guys? As usual, if we're in doubt, we're going to go for it. Now, what do you guys think is White's most principled way to play against this move? Spend a little time thinking about that. If you were White and you were getting faced by this move, which my idea is this, what do you think is your way forward? We're going to see if DJ Hugs does something that looks challenging or how DJ Hugs plays. Because I have my own opinion. Let's take. Okay, now I can go after the rook in the corner, is what I was thinking. Check. Even this is probably not terrifying for White. But they're going to have to find the best way. Ooh, queen d1. Okay, so now I can check if I want. This knight might be perishing in the corner. But let's give the check to start. Let's see where that king goes. King goes back. Yeah, I probably just got to let this knight drop. I don't really see a good way to save it. So let's simply castle. Let's give a check. And now I'm thinking about blasting this bad boy open because White's king is stuck in the center. White cannot castle. The king has already moved. Also, I'm even controlling the G1 square for good measure. But okay, now I think D4, D3 is looking good. What is it in particular that I like about Magnus? I'd say mostly his fighting spirit. Just his constant desire to win. And the fact that when he plays that way, this is a good defense, by the way. We really get to see what his opponents are made of. And it's just amazing to me to see players that I would absolutely crumble against in perhaps similar situations just fold against Magnus when Magnus puts them under pressure. Not sure how I should reply here. Queen d6 is kind of tempting. I think queen d6 is probably the move. I don't know, though. Knight b5, queen takes b4, king f2, something along those lines. Why isn't Chess Explained streaming anymore? I'm not sure about that. I get the sense he's working a lot on his Chessable stuff, yeah, but he has completely disappeared from streaming, yeah. Yeah, this is challenging because I have to keep an eye on this pawn now, too. Let's go here to defend and also attack. Maybe eye up the e3 square as well. Okay, rook e1. Check. d3. Not so convinced by any of this. I'm just going to go bishop e6. Let's go here. Yeah, also I love endgames, and Magnus is probably the best endgame player of all time. Okay. DJ Hugs is putting up some good resistance. Now this is winning, though. Let's play a tricky move. All right, we'll just trade. And now we just got to put the finishing touches on this. Let's take this one just to make it real straightforward. Okay. Thank you for the game, DJ Hugs. I think my sack on f2 was unsound. I'm almost certain it was. But in a blitz game, that's the type of thing that can be challenging, you know? Now, I thought you should take and on check actually play king g3. That was what I was most worried about. Yeah, the engine does not approve of this sack. Not in the slightest. It says just play something kind of pedestrian here. Castles, d6. And there you have it, king g3. However, king e1 is also good. That's what you played. So you're absolutely correct to take the knight. You kind of have to because you're getting forked. And it seems like even losing the rook was okay. I thought here, after I took on a1, you might just want to trade and play bishop d3. That looks like a pretty straightforward way to play it. You're going to win the knight. Looks like there's even more ambitious ways to play. Like knight d5. Trying to induce a trade, attack the knight, also threaten the fork. That looks great too. And, you know, this is one of these situations that's interesting because just counting the material doesn't tell the full tale, right? Like say I go king d8 and then white just simply captures. I know there's knight g5 as well, but we have a situation where white has two minor pieces against black's rook and two pawns, right? So rook and two pawns, 7 versus the two minor pieces, 6. You would think, oh, like that shouldn't be terrible for black, right? But the engine actually says white's well ahead. And it has a lot to do with activity and how many other pieces are on board. The minor pieces tend to do well in that material imbalance when there's other pieces on board. If we're more towards an endgame, maybe the pawns could be more relevant. But as things stand, all my pieces are still on the back rank. None of these pawns have moved. Black is not at all aggressively placed, whereas white is almost fully coordinated. And the minor pieces can really run roughshod over the position when that's the case. Why I didn't take c4? C4, not the direction you want to go here. I'm down a piece, remember, so I'm trying to gather some material for it. And white could refute that by taking and then playing bishop takes c4. Maybe back here? White was covering that square too, though. I don't think I ever could have taken c4 cleanly. Okay, thanks for the game, DJ Hugs. Tough one. AZ Chess, you are the next opponent. Oh, this is a 3+2 game. From position. Oh, the king and the queen. I see what you did. I see what you did. Clever, but we have to abort. You know, I appreciate the creativity, but we got to keep it to 3-0 and just standard chess. The most confusing thing that ever happens to me in Lichess plays. Were you guys here for the stream like a year ago? Where, how did it go? Yeah, someone challenged me to a custom position from the starting position, the normal starting position, but black actually moved first. I was playing white, they were playing black, and they started with d5, and I was just talking, you know, doing my thing. Like, I think I responded with d4, and I later played c4, and it took me a few moves to realize I was actually playing like a tempo down despite playing with the white pieces. That was one of the most clever custom challenges I've ever seen on Lichess plays. Okay, Tuscaria. We played one time before. Okay. One time in the past. That is on YouTube. Yes, that is on YouTube somewhere. Not using the clock as a weapon today. Yeah, I know. I've been talking a lot today. I can't help myself when really instructive scenarios come up, because that's part of the appeal, I think, of Lichess plays, is we get a chance to discuss a bunch of interesting instructive scenarios in a short period of time. And I am a chess teacher myself, so like I just constantly see things in games that are played at the lower levels that I would want my own students to know. Okay, let's go here. I'm going to go for the minority attack plan, b4, b5. Typical plan here, time-honored plan. I still remember sitting in a Barnes & Noble bookstore when a local player explained the minority attack to me. Shout out to Rafi, if you happen to be watching. Okay, let's preserve the bishop. Black's a little bit cramped, so I think avoiding the trades makes sense here. Okay, knight b6. I think that's probably a good move. Maybe looking to get into c4 at some point. I could play like knight a4, but let's start with this move. Just get that over. You know, that tends to be helpful when things start opening up here later. Uh-huh. Now, I could go back and maybe can insist on trying to avoid a trade, but that doesn't seem quite right. Okay, let's take. And I think I'm going to play knight a4 thereafter. Trying to jump in, also offering a possible trade. Mostly I'm trying to get into the c5 square, though. Oh, thank you, Donnie. Glad you're learning some stuff. Love it. Am I still trying to achieve GM status? Not at the moment, but we were talking about that earlier. I am thinking about returning to tournament play. I'm thinking about it. It's always a temptation for me. Do you think Tuscaria is going to go for this? I actually didn't calculate that until now. Okay. No dice for the moment. Let's play this. All right, let's go here. We're going to eye up this pawn. Am I teaching in the caveman chess camp? No. I've heard of that chess camp before, but nope. Can you lose your title? Pretty much no. I think you'd have to do something pretty egregious to lose it. But no, like if you go back under a certain rating, you don't lose your title. Okay, I got to be a little careful about this in certain circumstances. Maybe here is the way to play this. And I want to go b5. Like that's sort of the main thing I'm looking at. Let's go here first, though. Yet again, I'm behind on the clock. If you're caught cheating, you may lose your title. Yes, that has happened in some rare circumstances. There was what was previously a grandmaster from the country of Georgia who was caught cheating, and he was stripped of his title. I think he was demoted to IM. Fortunately, those cases are few and far between, but there is some precedent for it, yeah. Okay. This worked out great for me. Black didn't really ever get an attack. That's just trade. We'll keep things simple here. Check. Or not check. I think I was merging that in my head, but now I can take and check. You guys ever say check when it's not check? Just to make sure your opponent's paying attention? Only me? All right, let's push through the center. push e5. I think this should be winning. Let me just get the timing correct here. Let's go here. Take, take, take. Push up. Yep, I think I can do this. It's just a matter of tempi. Take, king f4, king e6. I need to play h5, so that's why I played h4. Put our opponent in Zugzwang. Can pre-move this. All right, good game. Sometimes check when I attack the queen. It could be a dirty time pressure technique, right? Like over the board, you announce check when it's not check, and your opponent just pauses and loses on time because they're so confused. Thanks to Scaria for the game. It was looking kind of interesting in the middle game. I thought maybe you had a chance to organize something towards my king. Like, what about bishop takes h3 here? Yeah, no good. It's kind of like the sacrifice I made against DJ Hugs. The engine's going to hate it. But for a human, under pressure in a blitz game, I'm looking at my pieces. I'm like, I have all my major pieces away from the king. You're threatening my knight. My king is looking pretty bare. Apparently, there's probably, only a narrow way I can defend. I might have taken that risk if I were you, Tiscaria. If you can get your knight and one of your other rooks in the game, you might be able to win. Yeah, I think as played, I was just able to... I definitely don't like knight f8. I think probably right around here, you got to look for something better. Thank you for the game. Tough one. Okay, who's up next? Orkanomov. I feel like we're going to get another d4 game. Just gut instinct. Nope, e4. Okay. This time, let's play a Sicilian. Who's my favorite chess player of all time? Of all time. Well, I do like Kramnik a lot. I learned a lot from Kramnik's games. He would not approve of some of the online games that I've played based on his recent comments, but I would say Kramnik is probably right up there for me in terms of my favorite players of all time. I learned a lot from Karpov, Capablanca as well. I definitely gravitate more towards the strategic players. I appreciate games of, Kasparov, Fischer, Tal, but that style of play, the very energetic, dynamic, calculation-heavy style, is just not something I've been able to do much in my own games. But that's the great thing about chess, right? There are multiple styles that can work. And these days, you got to be more of a universal player anyways. Okay, let's play aggressive here. h5. Maybe looking for knight g4. Have I ever played against Larry Christensen? Online, I definitely have. Back in the day, for sure. On the Internet Chess Club, for instance. Shall I take first or play knight g4 first? I'm not sure. Let's take here first. Let's capture. Yeah, Larry Christensen was just playing in the U.S. Championship, U.S. Senior Championship, that is. I think he was doing pretty well. But I believe they had a massive tie for first place in that tournament. What's the light square bishop's plan? Yes, it can sometimes take a while to get this in the game. Most of the time you try to fianchetto it, whether it's b6 or b5, you try to stick it on b7. But I'm playing this in a don't try this at home style manner once again. I hope you guys don't mind that, by the way. Like, I definitely play a lot looser in these games than I do against other title players or, just if I'm playing for maximum results. But you guys don't want to see, like, boring technique in me just trying to trade down into endgames and, like, win all the time. It's more interesting to do kind of semi-sketchy yet instructive stuff and seeing how the opponents react. Okay, so now Orkanomov has to deal with this threat. Yep, so g3. Yeah, and here's where I probably have to start thinking about my development. I'm going to play b5. To your point, Jailer Man, about the light square bishop, we'll try to get him involved. My opponent's forcing a queen trade. Fine. Not much I can do about that. Yeah, so I'm thinking later this might be a good move. I don't think I'm ready to play it yet, but it's definitely on my radar. Let's play rook c8 here. I'm probably going to roll with my king in the center for a while. Queens are off the board, so there's not a whole lot of danger to my king. b4 is a threat here. Ooh, actually, I could have played b4 on the previous move because I was winning this pawn, but I think it's still good. I'm going to have my pick of pawns. Where's Mr. J Hammer? That's a semi-random person you're trying to summon. But good question. Where is Mr. Hammer? Probably in Norway, if I were to guess. Okay, so when I see this position, I'm looking at this mating pattern and then get the other rook to the h-file. I'm going to see if I can engineer that. Let's play d5. I have a beautifully outposted bishop. Bishops sometimes don't do well on outposts. I have this move too whenever I want it, but you know what I really want? I want that mating pattern I'm talking about. Let's try to do it. Now, I could take b4 to try to set it up, but I don't think that's quite the most sound way. It's still going to be pretty challenging, but now let's just go here. And then, am I ready for it yet? I don't quite know. Let's go here first. I'm going to try to rule out f3 as a defensive resource. And then we strike. Yeah, and typical mating pattern right there. I had to clear the brush. I had to get some things out of the way to destroy it. Yeah, this move's actually pretty important because right, rook takes e4 is also a thing if I don't take care of the bishop. I mean, maybe the position is strong enough where I could actually double rooks at that point and still win. Like, let's say I do this here. Thanks again for the game, Orkanov. Let's say I take threatening mate. White has to play this move or this one. White's king is already in such a state that I can maybe just do this. And I don't think I'm going to checkmate right away, but if White were to save the rook, I have this mating pattern, with this pawn playing a key role guarding against king f3. But, yeah, I mean, White could play king f1, they could bail, I would take the rook or whatever, but... So, yeah, thanks for the game. I think probably trading queens wasn't the best for White. Yeah, Engine doesn't like that. I think the position's just too easy for Black to play. White's chances are probably going to be in the center and going to be based on the fact that I'm somewhat underdeveloped here. I would still take Black at this point, but you can see the Engine is suggesting some interesting stuff. Rook fe1, alignment with the king, bishop b7, and then knight d5. Look at that move. Active, trying to pry open this file towards my king. This could get wild. I feel like that's something a master would look for, though, from the White side, because the long-term trend of this position is not in White's favor. Black has the two bishops. I'd say the better pawn structure, too. This pawn has a real cramping effect, kind of holding all three of those pawns at bay. So when the long-term trend and the distribution of the pieces on board, the structure is not in your favor, you usually want to compensate by playing dynamically, playing actively. It's hard to fight a trend by agreeing to play with that trend as my opponent kind of did in this game. You know, going along with the trend, you want to fight back against it. You got to do something to reverse it. Grandmaster Yermolinsky actually talks about that in his awesome book called The Road to Chess Improvement. He talks about trend-breaking moves. So I'm kind of borrowing his term. All right, Emilio. I recognize you, my friend. Let's play a Caro-Kann. I mean, a classic example of what I just talked about is when, like, you're getting pawn stormed around your own king. Let's say it's an opposite side castling situation. You're getting pawn stormed. One of the worst things you can do is try to defend with your pawns around your king. Like, if you try to push your pawns to meet your opponent's pawns in defense, it almost always works out poorly. It actually often accelerates the attack. You want to try to play minimalistically on that wing and immediately create problems elsewhere whenever possible. Yermolinsky's accent is epic. Yeah, shout out to Yermo. He does have a great accent. Let's take here. I mean, guys, come on. What are we doing here? Let's be serious. I love Yermo. I've met him multiple times in person. I've played against him before. Yeah. I think Yermo has beaten Kasparov before in a tournament game, too. Let's castle. Let's see if Emilio realizes the threat now. Emilio did not see the threat. I was threatening to take here now that there's no pin going on. Let's see if Emilio sees the threat on c2. Good. Queen d3, good move. I could maybe take and play d4. I don't know if I quite like it because of rook d1 at the end. If I take the bishop, maybe take here. I might just retreat my knight. I think I'm going to go here. Is there any problem with a capture on d5? I don't think so. I don't think so. So let's go here. Is it opera mate? Yeah, with like the rook and the bishop. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That was the pattern I was going for. Ooh, watch those diagonal moves, Emilio. All right, let's go here. This is kind of cruel, but I'm going to put him to the test. Yep, sure thing. So far, so good. The game might end 92. Queen takes e1. No, it did not. Okay. Let's take here. Capture. And resigns. Yes, the damage was done there early on. Thanks for the game, Emilio. I'm personally not a big fan of these exchange variations in the Caro, especially if you kind of develop a little bit too standard. Maybe thinking about pawn tension a little more, Emilio, like trying to develop on your own terms and keep the tension. It's not that this is so terrible. It's just that it's very easy to kind of drift into a position where you don't have much of a plan out of this. Despite the fact that all White's pieces are coordinated, there's very little pawn play White has going on here. So it's a bit more advanced, but the engine already pretty heavily prefers Black in these positions, and that's consistent with my experience too. The knight is kind of misplaced in front of the c-pawn. This whole majority doesn't have much to do. Black can play down the c-file. So it can be tough, but yeah, for the moment, right after I've castled and broke the pin, here you do have to address the threat of knight takes d4. Okay, thank you very much for the game. Who's up next? PJC. All right, let's play e4. Hello, Derek. It's been a good week. Yeah, no complaints over here. Hope it's the same with you. What is my best experience with chess? Oof, man. So many. I would say the thing I appreciate most about chess is how global of a game it is and how many people I've met, how many opportunities I've had to travel. Yeah, just the sheer number of people I've interacted with due to the game. I like the fact that it's a language in itself. I feel like chess players around the globe kind of share a common bond. Hello, Mr. Wire Rabbit. Am I mainly an e4 player? I am not. I grew up playing e4 a lot. I'm actually trying to go back to it a little bit, but I mostly play d4 or knight f3 in serious games. Okay. So Black's developing a little passive, I'd say. We're in a Berlin. But even though I two-stepped with the pawn, we're going to get it up to d4. Ooh, just as I say PJC is playing passive, he strikes. g5. Okay, I'm not too worried about this plan. I think this plan is better if white's played h3 because there's this g4 move. But I got to think how I want to reply. I'm not 100% sure. I'm tempted to take, swap everything in the middle, and then take e5. But I'm not actually convinced that that's leading to an advantage per se. So, I mean, I could play d5, but that's usually what black wants. They want to close the center in this situation. I don't know. Let's go here. I'm going to try to put my queen up here to guard these pawns. And on g4, I'm just going to start maneuvering my knight. But I think it's nice to have the queen directly adjacent, right behind this pawn here. Yeah, just defending from the d3 square so black can't capture twice. Knight b8. Let's keep the light square bishop. Do you have a bicycle? And then Sergey puts in parentheses, they don't have one. No, I do. I also don't have a bicycle. I don't. Maybe I should get one. There's lots of places to ride it around here for me. Lots of bike paths. That was such a wholesome question. All right, let's go here. That is pretty fun, isn't it? Okay, so black really wants this initiative towards my king. I'm not really that concerned about it yet. Maybe I should be, but I think I can fade it. Let's take. So if I take bishop takes h3, I think the fact that I have knight f5 later is pretty important. For example, if PJC takes... okay, didn't have to ask them twice, I guess. And then plays this. Yeah, I saw this, and I think it's crucial that I have this move. Because if not, in fairness, the queen coming in does look pretty darn dangerous. So I'm not going to declare my position completely safe yet, but I think this should more or less defend for me. I'm glad he added he didn't have one. Yeah, I know that made that question kind of funny. PJC is out for blood. You know, they're 0-2 against me, but they are absolutely out for blood. I agree. This pawn's hanging, but I don't think I should take it. I think I should try to get some defensive moves going over here. Now maybe I should take. I could do it at this point. Yeah, let's capture. It's a tempo on the rook with the bishop. Ooh, also I might have this and then bishop e6, huh? Probably not anymore. I mean, I could do it just to try to deflect my opponent. Bishop g6 as well. I don't know. Let's play it. We're getting low on the clock, so let's do it. Offer it to queen trade, also hitting the rook. Okay. Let's go here. This looks funny. Whoa. Now I'm looking at some sort of smothered mate style ideas if they ever work. Take. Let's take. Let's take. Check. Sometimes you just got to announce check. All right, we're putting the finishing touches on this one. Push. Push, push, push. All right. Thank you for the game, PJC. Interesting one. Yeah, let's see if that attack was potentially successful if I didn't have knight f5. I think you might be justified if knight f5 wasn't a thing. So we're going to zoom right to here. Queen f1. Yeah, queen f1 looks pretty passive, but I guess I have that resource too. But this is just a really nice way to jam black up. I do think you should take on h3 after that. I don't think you should allow my pawn to survive, but it does seem that there's insufficient compensation. I was kind of debating what to do here, to be honest, because you know what I thought about even doing is actually throwing in the check and then just coming back, simply so black can't coordinate these so effectively. It's probably kind of a junk idea, but yeah, I thought if king g2, maybe you check here, and I'm not even sure I want to take because my king is kind of open. It's one of these situations, your pawn on g3 actually assists in me hiding my king in a weird way. Move 23, fork. Let's see. Fork. I don't see the fork. I was trying to set up bishop e6 with this move. But yeah, mostly it was just played to trade. You're afraid of that check, so I wanted to castle first. Oh, that was you, Slay. Got it. Yeah. It's just a little too optimistic. But I think this setup strikes me as a little passive. Like, combined with what you did, it's interesting. Computer doesn't hate it. That said, I've seen black be more effective with this, with h3 having been played by white, because then when you play g4, you get the two attackers going. Thanks for the game. Wow, the time is just zooming by. We are in our second hour already. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We still got about 45 minutes left in this stream. LK, are you there? Do you guys think this is an L or a capital I? I'm curious. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I think my opponent's not here. You can always re-challenge. Daniel Lin, good luck to you. We may never know. Yeah. It's like, you guys know how Elon has been apparently trying to purchase Twitter? And now it's like in doubt if the sale will happen. I'm sure there's like lawsuits galore. So someone posted a tweet where they tagged Elon and it said something like, wow, like Twitter really took this personally. And it showed like Elon's account getting banned. And there was like a direct Twitter link to what appeared to be Elon's account. But instead of Elon Musk in the profile title, like the L was actually a capital I, but it just looked indistinguishable. And I saw that, I was like, whoa, they legitimately banned Elon. All right, let's go here. I can take this bishop too. Maybe I should have taken and played queen d5. That's a common thing. White's kind of defending this bishop in the center, but I probably should have captured it right away. Oh, thank you, Bob Bobson. Bob Bobson said, I like how John doesn't play a move because he sees a potentially risky move by his opponent at the end of a sequence of moves, which none of us can see. That's definitely a thing in chess that happens at all levels, right? Like you want to play a certain line, you calculate it, and you're pretty sure the opponent doesn't see it, but in good conscience, you still can't play it because the consequences are severe. And your opponent, you got to give your opponent credit for finding it a lot of times. Is this the last game? No, not by any means. We still got a lot of games to go. Yeah, so white allowed the queen trade. I don't like that because not only is white's structure worse now, but they're down a pawn. It's going to be very difficult to play. Do I think this position is a draw in a GM versus GM setting? No. I think black wins almost every time. Even if white had a pawn somewhere, like if white wasn't down a pawn, that is, I think it would still be kind of tough for white, assuming that they have these weaknesses. Maybe drawish, but it would still be tough. But yeah, this is a very big advantage for black, despite it looking a little passive for the moment, right? But the thing is, it's a very stable position. White has no inroads here. It's not a position that's going to like open up tactically anytime soon. Chess Fest London. Interesting. That sounds like a good time. I do question how I'm going to get this rook in the game. I have to think about that. I believe I'm actually going to try to push here and then go rook h5. But maybe white will play to shut that down. We'll see. Opposite color bishops, maybe. Somewhat better chance, although still white would be suffering, even in that case. Okay, so I could push h4, but I'm kind of debating how safe my king is at that point. Just really the only issue is getting the rook in the game. And if I go here, that allows rook d7, so I don't want to do that. You know, I'm even thinking of something kind of convoluted. But if I go here, there's rook d6. So I got to be careful. Ah, I see a semi-trap. Not going to do it, though. All right, let's play h4. I have mixed feelings about this move, but I'm going to do it. Yes, they do, Rafi, yes. What was the semi-trap? If I played bishop d8 here, I was thinking about c5 takes and then king d7, trying to trap the rook. But there's f5 or rook e4. f5 or rook e4 was the problem. Okay, now let's activate the rook up this way. This is my original idea. I like this, if not for the fact that the pawn on h4 is kind of weak. But I think I can negotiate that. Okay, let's swing over. Attack the pawn. I might need to play f5 soon to guard the pawn. f5 or g5? Let's go f5. So bishop's guarding now. Is that a sweatshirt or a t-shirt? It's a t-shirt. Okay. My rook's a little bit awkwardly placed. Maybe b5 now. Let's do it. I think I should take this way. If I take with the rook, I lose that one. So play like that. Go here. Keep everything defended. I mean, maybe f3, bishop f2. Yeah, that could be a thing. Let's go here now. Ooh. All right, thanks for the game, Daniel. GG, yep. I don't know. Maybe towards the end, I didn't even have much of an advantage. I'm kind of curious how best to play the position right around here. I feel like the way I played it was suboptimal. Because I'm up a pawn, I was, extolling the virtues of black's position, how the material supersedes the fact that my king's in the center. But it was still not simple to coordinate. I think f6. I was a little worried about bishop here, bishop here. The computer wants me to go here. Maybe to try for this and king e7. So if this move, just c5. Okay. Yeah, that looks better. I maybe made one too many pawn moves. f6 and h5 are marked as kind of dubious, according to the engine. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like towards the end, maybe white was getting into drawish territory if they had more time. It's only a modest advantage for black here. Thanks for the game, Daniel. GG. Okay, Stokes. You're up next, 1464. Good to see a lot of new players, new chatters. Let's play a French defense. People always take or push at the lower levels. It's like a universal rule. Not that those are necessarily bad moves. Like the advanced variation is actually pretty challenging. But let's go c6. Do you think it's beneficial to create new opening ideas for yourself instead of just following the more studied lines? Well, it certainly is great to experiment and apply your own understanding, your own take on things. But it's very hard to innovate and come up with something new that's also good. You know, I'd say it's pretty easy to come up with something new if you really want to in chess out of the opening. But it's very difficult to come up with something new that's also good or interesting or challenging. So you have to use your judgment. But I definitely promote and encourage investigating positions for yourself. That's a great idea. Actually, some of the most productive opening work I've ever done is when I've basically built a repertoire from the ground up myself and just input lines in manually. I used a book source or two to do so, but man, it's pretty enlightening when you basically build the whole house from the ground up. Sketch it all out and brick by brick build it. I like finding new ideas around move 9 or 10 or something mainstream. You know, I've listened to some top players also talk about how they approach opening work. And because of the prevalence of engines, just the fact that everyone uses engines to prepare, it's kind of changed how people strictly approach opening work. Very easy for white to blunder here, by the way, like rook e1, allowing a trade, and then queen takes d4. Like one thing I think it was Fabiano who said this, but basically a lot of top players, they try to look for ideas that are not necessarily in the top 2 or 3 moves the computer will give in a given position, and so therefore aren't strictly the best moves, but are interesting and require an understanding of the position to actually refute or equalize against, like if it's white doing it. So I thought that was intriguing how, again, I'm pretty sure it was Fabiano, but it could have been someone else. I thought it was intriguing how he's describing it. It's like acknowledging that you're fully willing to play a move that the computer doesn't rank as its top or even top 2, but against a human who's facing it for the first time may actually be the best move because of the practical aspects of it. I think I can take here, guys. No, I can't. Takes with this one. No, but then I do get this. Yeah, this I think works because if he takes here, rook takes e1. Pretty cool fork into the jaws of both knights. Let's drop the bomb. We're hitting the queen as well. It's a fun move to play. Not often you can play your knight in when both enemy knights are guarding that square. Okay, so now take f3 and e1 is looking real awkward for my opponent. Looking for some sort of other tactic here. Not quite seeing it, but I think this is simple enough. And I believe this is strong. Probably wins more material because my queen has an absolute bead on the rook on e1 now. If I get this knight remotely involved, white's position collapses immediately. This is also a good move. But this one seems even more interesting, so I'm going to play it. King g2, I can take d3. We can capture there. Are you saying you use a Lichess study to do that? The Lichess study tool is great. Highly recommend using that, yeah. That is like a one-stop shop for conducting your own analysis on openings. The best tool you can use online. And the fact that it's free is unbelievable. All right, thanks for the game, Stokes. Yeah, you kind of just got caught with a shot there. Knight takes d4. Honestly, though, the position's pretty tough because your structure's hard to work with. It's pretty rigid. Double isolated pawns, backward pawn. Yeah. So I think probably here you have to defend a little more carefully to avoid some structural damage. Although actually you could have taken with the knight on e1. So that's maybe the point where you can avoid the pawn structure damage. Thank you for the game. Yeah, nifty little move there. Knight takes d4. Completely winning, according to the engine. It's a deflection move and also a line opening move. Exploding the pin here and the deflection of this knight. All right, thanks again for the game. Pistol Pete. Is this an homage to Pistol Pete Maravich? Good luck to you. Let's play knight f3. We'll mix it up a little bit. Yeah, Lichess does have fantastic resources. Use them, folks. The study tool is under the Learn tab. Learn and study. I use this all the time. I love it. Pistol Pete is not here, unfortunately. So we got to abort that game. We'll go on to someone else. Ooh, Totoro. We have one game. Now, I remember that game. That was a tough one. Good luck to you, Totoro. Let's play another Sicilian. Do I think chess-base is overrated when you can use Lichess study? I don't think chess-base is overrated necessarily. I've used chess-base for many, many years. That was kind of the primary tool for quite a while prior to sites like Lichess coming around. But I would say chess-base is probably overkill for most people. Even for me as a title player, like I can pretty much do everything I need to do using free resources and as far as self-analysis, that is. Again, the Lichess study tool is basically many aspects that make chess-base great, but without some of the unnecessary bells and whistles. I think I can take this pawn. I think Totoro might be bluffing here. We're going to find out. H4 is a thing, but I just don't see where the compensation's coming here. Ivanchuk seems to love it. Oh, yeah, I do see Ivanchuk using chess-base a lot in his videos. Shout out to Vasily Ivanchuk. Okay, queen d3 is trying to castle. I'm thinking bishop g5 here. Maybe induce g3. Also, there's the problem on f2 as well. So maybe I just develop. Maybe I just play bishop e6. I'm expecting g3 here. Seems difficult for white to coordinate otherwise. I have a Sveshnikov-like setup here with white having the knight on d5, but being up the pawn, having the two bishops, I really like this. I think this is looking great. Oh, you guys like the board? Yeah, I wasn't sure. This board is controversial. Some love it. Some are like, John, what are you doing? Why in the world would you use this board? I'm a fan, personally. All right, let's go here. It's the denim, you know, it's the distressed denim board. Okay, so white's not castling, at least not now. Okay, let's go g6. King g7, maybe h5 later. Again, I get the sense white kind of has to play g3, f4. I don't see really how you're going to play around the dark square bishop otherwise. But you never know. Maybe white gets creative, something like this. Knight d2. Okay. Angling for knight f3. All right, let's go king g7. Maybe rook c8 here. Still trying to be vigilant for tactics, but I think I've got things covered for the moment. Yeah, I know. Sergey's questions they do sound like bot generated questions, don't they? Okay, h5. I think it might be time for h5. I like the look of this move. It's just a helpful move. Make sure the rook is not attacking h7 at all times. Gain a little space. How do you know when you can afford to give up the bishop pair versus when you try to keep them? Yeah. Obviously, the stock answer there would be that it's situation dependent. It can be hard to know sometimes. Absolutely. I think I'm going to go back now. Try for knight e7, probably. Try to swap. Oh, did I give the pawn back? I just foolishly gave the pawn back. Okay, but I have a big time edge. Also, a2 might be hanging in some cases. Ooh. He says, I know you're giving the pawn back, but I don't really care, John. I'm going for your king. I think there's a few things I could do against this, though. Take, bishop f5 for one thing. But also taking looks pretty okay. Let's take here first. Play to trade. Just going to try to send my king out of here somehow. It's a draw. I didn't realize that was a perpetual. I thought I had I actually took away the one square that I could do for a perpetual. GG, Totoro. That was actually a really bad decision by me to play queen g8. I probably should have gone here right away. I mean, it's kind of weird because this is actually like not even really a threat now that I think about it. It's just one of those moves that looks scary, but I would just go king g8 at that point. I think I could even play a6 here to guard the pawn. Oh, maybe not. Oh, okay. This could be dangerous. Okay. Yeah, because now there's two threats here. So maybe I should do something towards my king, but what to play? I mean, the engine suggests queen a5. That's a funny move. That's cold-blooded. Send the queen to the opposite side of the board and just threaten this pawn, I think is the point. Yeah, it's going to say the same line, but in this case, if white goes rook f5, I just take, and I'm defending here, which is really convenient. Then I can play king e7, and I'm just escaping. Okay, queen a5 was not on my radar. Okay, queen f6, though, I definitely should have found. I'm pretty disappointed in myself that I didn't find some clean defense here. Because that felt pretty desperate by Totoro. But interesting. You know, with time dwindling for both sides, interesting. Thank you for the game. Good game. What about this one? This is another version of this I was thinking about. That is also good, apparently. And if here, probably... just queen g5. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it never really felt like white had full compensation for the pawn, but Totoro, to Totoro's credit, made it interesting at the end. And it's better to play with the initiative than defend in the final moments. Thanks for the game. Okay. Okay, Struba, you're up next. Good luck to you. Rated game, 1353. Okay, I feel like I played a lot of different things today against d4. We've been facing d4 an inordinate number of times. So London system. I usually play some sort of Leningrad type setup against this. You try to clean the e5 square, this square here. Oh yeah, it does have like a little aberration, huh? I reached out to my screen to try to clean it as well. Yes, this is the Jorts board. That's right. It's the Jean Shorts board. Truly one of the piece sets on Lichess. Or boards, I should say. I'm using for piece set, I'm using the Merida. I think it's called. No, Maestro. Okay, so I want to try to load up e5. But I think the way in which I execute that will be interesting. We'll see. Let's go here. I'm going to try to be sneaky. I don't think K-Struba is going to fall for it necessarily. Ooh, but they do. Yeah, you got to constantly be vigilant for this pawn push in the London when you have this minor piece deployment. Knight f3, bishop d3. Minor pieces one square apart because K-Struba, I think, is now seeing the problem here. Do I still get involved in Chessable projects? Well, I am a Chessable author, content creator, co-founder of the site. So I'm still rooting hard for the site to continue to succeed. And I've got a lot of resources on there you guys can check out if you're interested. It's a great community. But yeah, I'm mostly involved as just a content creator and author. Board is fine. Piece is not so good. You don't like this set? I don't know. I like the Maestro set. Definitely one of my top 2-3 sets on here. I think it looks pretty clean. The bishops are, I think, the most striking thing about this set. Bishops look horrible. Yeah, the bishops are highly polarizing, but I like them. They kind of remind me of like the old school diagrams. The old school chess diagrams. The shading's also good. Yes, I agree. Oh, thank you, GM Little Lemon. Yeah, the knights look pretty standard on this set. Okay. Shall we go knight e4? Let's do it. I hope you have recovered. Yes, I have recovered. I was sick early last week with some sort of stomach bug. But fortunately, I recovered pretty quickly. K-Struba in big time pressure here. Gonna be tough for them. Let's go c5. Now let's try to menace something towards the white king. All right. Thank you for the game, K-Struba. Hopefully this game will be a good warning to look for that pattern, that fork pattern. That's why I played king h8, so that when this happens, you can't bail with your bishop with check. So you just need to play something like bishop h2. Yeah, maybe even move this light square bishop. I would personally play bishop h2, though, so when this happens, you're going to have to get some stuff out of the way. But let's say like take, bishop here, something like this. Got to be aware of that constantly in the London, because black can try to set that up. Thank you for the game. You look very American. I wonder why. Planted mold. Good luck to you. E4. All right, let's play Owen's defense, named after John Owen. I like his first name. B6, E6. It has some similarity to the French. A3, stopping bishop E4. I don't really know what to do here. D5, I think, would be pretty standard, but somehow that seems kind of boring. I don't know. Let's go for a double fianchetto. I played an opponent in Blitz the other day who did this. Grandmaster. Really strong player. And it can be tough to play against this hippo formation, knight e7, knight d7. Because black can control the pawn play pretty significantly. Yeah, hippo time. That's right. Hikaru plays this way sometimes too. Let's go h6. You often send the rook pawns up here too. Just hit the bishop, see where white puts that dark square bishop. John, I thought you didn't like the dark theme, yet you're using it. I do often play with light mode. That is true. However, I think there would be a riot if I tried to use light mode on Lichess plays. So I'm cognizant. I do it for you guys. But if I'm using Lichess normally, I use light mode myself. I know some people will say that that makes me a psychopath, but I don't care. All right, we're full on hippo formation now. We're lying in the mud. We're waiting. Hippos are fearsome predators. Don't get it twisted. I think in Africa, actually, of all animals, like hippos kill the most people. Aside from like, mosquitoes, for instance. Like malaria and stuff, which is awful. But I believe it's the case that hippos are the most deadly. Maybe snakes as well. I could be completely making that up. Do your own research. Let's go knight f6. Attack this pawn. Aren't hippos omnivores? Yeah, but you don't want to mess with them. They will charge and attack you, yeah. And they're really good swimmers. They're amazing swimmers, so if you happen to be in the water with a hippo, watch out. Okay, so see what I did? White went d5, I played e5 in reply. And now I got to figure out where I want to play hereafter. I'm probably going to try to angle for f5. So let's actually go back. I'm going to try to go here. Wow. This comment about hippos has generated a lot of interest in the chat. They do have an amazingly strong bite, yes. Hippos don't swim. They just run on the ground because they're so heavy. Is that true? That's hilarious if true. I was in New Orleans last year for my brother's bachelor party. Actually, almost exactly this time last year. And we went on one of those like swamp tours where you can see the crocodiles and all sorts of animals down there. And one thing I encountered on that tour, which I thought was really interesting, so there's a ton of wild boar in the southern region of the U.S. And they're considered invasive, like they're largely a pest, and they just reproduce like crazy. But they're very interesting animals. And one thing I discovered is that boars, so these wild, large pigs, basically, are excellent swimmers. They are absolutely fantastic swimmers. And one of them, basically was paddling effortlessly. Massive boar, probably 200, 250 pounds. Was just paddling effortlessly right by our boat in fairly deep water, too. The crocodiles don't mess with them. They also have a really nasty bite. Let's go here. I'm guarding the square. I'm going to try to cash in at some point on the H-file, but I think it's not going to matter because the time situation is dire. Yeah, now here, this is yet another situation where I can take and like give a check here. I think it's just a matter of time before I do this, and deliver mate. Because that pawn on f3, such a beast. This is the boar of my position, the wild boar of my position. Guarding g2, guarding e2. Yes, thank you for the game, Planted Mold. Let's see if that's the case at the end. Yeah, queen c8, queen e8, rook h5. Is there anything wrong with this one? Not really. Yeah, when your best move is bishop e2, like that's already bailout territory, trying to eliminate the pawn because the groundwork for the checkmate pattern has been laid. And even trying to escape with the king never works. Is this the Discovery Channel? It is now, yes. Check out our sister site, leeanimals.org. Yeah, I think this is just really tough for white after g4. Like, this is kind of what I was talking about in that game earlier, you know, in the Ruy Lopez. When g4 hits and it attacks two things, very difficult for white. It's defended. We're levering open the h-file. And Gennardi says this is a complete bust for white. Oh, bishop f8. That's a very King's Indian-like move, actually. That's a nice one. Retreat move to clear the way for the queen to come over to h7. Very interesting. And white sunk here as well. How does that work? So if take... okay, because white can't take for the time being. I see. So yeah, I'm just loading up for this, and white has very little to do. So this is really tough, Planted Mold, especially if you haven't faced these setups a lot. I struggle against them myself too. But probably my best piece of advice is maybe to engage a C or F pawn a little bit earlier against this setup, because then you have more punch when you do eventually make an advance in the center. You control a little more territory on the 5th rank. Thanks for the game. All right. We got time for 2 or maybe 3 more games. The Saru Gambit, I remember you. Good luck. We had that game pretty recently, I think. Okay. How about a Peertz? I played Sicilian, Caro-Kann. I think I played Scandi maybe once this session. Let's play a Peertz. Go e5. You were listening to so much about animals that you didn't watch the game. It says hippos are the world's deadliest mammal after humans. Yeah, that's what I mean, man. Like, don't sleep on the hippos. Figuratively and literally. Okay, let's castle. Oh, yeah, my pleasure, Sergey. I enjoyed some of your off-the-wall questions. I think Hikaru used the hippo to beat Stockfish. Yeah, I think he did. You're right. I think you're right about that, John. One of his videos out there from several years ago. I think that's the one where he promoted to, like, I don't know, 7, 8 knights or something. 10 knights, maybe. He might have had the maximum number of knights on board. I feel like playing this kind of creatively, so maybe I will move my king, move the knight back, and play f5. Speaking of getting C and F pawns, whoop, I almost pre-moved bishop f5. That almost could have been bad. You thought Sergey was a bot? I mean, Sergey might be a bot. We haven't conclusively discovered that or not. He said no, but that's what a bot would say. We're going to make you pass the, what is it, the Turing test? Wait, is the Turing test, is that like if an animal can recognize itself, or is that a different test? Alan Turing was a chess player, I'm pretty sure. Okay, let's preserve the knight. Turing test is for computers if they're human enough. Okay, right. So that would be appropriate for our friend Sergey. What is the test to determine if animals are like conscious of themselves? I think very few animals are able to pass it. Ooh, I foresee problems on this diagonal. Let's play c6. I see trouble on the horizon for Thesaru Gambit. Take, 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 and bishop f6. We're going to strike on the dark squares. Yep, get that rook in the corner. Hello, Tamal. Thank you for tuning in today. We're close to wrapping up here, but we're still going to get maybe 2 more games in after this. Wait, you're telling me my dog doesn't know what she looks like? Right. I mean, that's why dogs bark at themselves when you show a mirror to them. I think chimps can pass it. I want to say dolphins can pass it as well. Crows. Yep. Dogs can pass. Maybe some dogs can. Elephants. Yeah, elephants are quite intelligent too. All right. Thank you, Thesaru Gambit, for the game. Time got the better of you there, but this setup I think is a little bit passive for you. I would try to get d4 in quicker, and especially if black's playing e5, d6. And in general, if your opponent's pushing pawns to the 6th rank, I believe you should take the center. You should get those 2 pawns side by side in the center of the board is the way to approach it. Thanks for the game. All right, let's try to get 2 more games in, guys. Nice. And Ben, hey, been a little while. We haven't played all that recently. Oh, you took me down in that last game. Okay, yeah, I gotta focus here. We gotta play our A repertoire. Yeah, I bet Octopi could pass it as well. It's a good point. Octopi are really smart. Yeah, crows are great. I wish I had a pet crow or a raven or something. That'd be sick. Knight ge2. That's always interesting. We'll play c6, kind of standard. I don't know about this. This strikes me as a little subpar from White's perspective, but we'll see. Nice has some sort of idea in mind. Okay, bishop d6. Not sure I should have put the bishop there, but it's okay. Nice crooked rooks. Okay, a3. I think Nice is trying to get me to commit to some side of the board, so I will oblige and go king, queen side. Ooh, don't tempt me, man. Don't tempt me. I really want to play that move. I'm just not sure that it's. Oh no. This has to be sound. Now I don't take here. I take here because if I take this one, it would work great if he goes king b1 because I take. But White can go king d2, so I think I want to capture here. In fact. Now with the queens in alignment, I just had to make sure that I wasn't running into a check or something. Like if my king were here, this would be a disaster, right? Because a check and win the queen. This is quite tricky now for White because this is lingering over their head. I feel like I can almost score a knockout here with knight c5. I think that's going to be a nasty move to face. Because if takes, then queen a1 is mate because the rook will control d2. This is like instant GG pretty much. Oh, octopi is wrong? Interesting. Octopuses. Okay. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, knight c5 is a very pog move. But it was tough for white anyways. Like down a pawn, your king is completely exposed. Bishop pair ineffective. Yeah, now I can just take on b3, and taking on c2 is going to be checkmate on the next move. Also, queen a1 is mate on the next move. All right. Thank you, nice. Yeah, I think basically you just can't castle queenside here after you played a3. Sometimes this is a bad idea, but I think the big problem is this knight is not defended again. Like if your knight is held by, let's say the bishop's not here. It's on like, I don't know where it would be, but let's just say the bishop is not blocking the queen from defending the knight. I think then maybe you can allow it because take, you have that king d2 bailout. Yeah, this is -5 already. That's pretty rough. Nice clearance move, knight c5. Thank you for the game. All right. You guys know what time it is. Final game of the session, blindfold. We've been having some interesting games blindfolded. And who's it going to be this week? Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to Lichess Plays. If you want to see from my perspective, just stay tuned here. Don't do anything. You're going to see a blank board, and you're going to see me moving around the pieces and talking about it as normal. If you want to actually see the pieces, go follow Fins on Lichess. Okay, e4. You know what? Let's play another Scandi against Neutrino Wombat. Good luck to the Wombat. Pre-move queen takes d5. Thanks, everyone, for challenging. If you didn't get a game, don't worry. Keep challenging. You can try to get one in the future. This is a weekly thing here on Lichess Plays. There are other Lichess streams throughout the week, too, sometimes. Really depends on the schedule, but you can sometimes tune in during the weekdays and catch other streamers doing it. Do you have to proactively practice blindfold chess, or is it organic from getting to your level of strength? Yeah, I tend to think, Craig, that it's mostly a function of your overall strength. I personally don't practice blindfold itself, aside from playing these games. Okay, I'm familiar with this line. I like this variation for black. This is the new way that they're handling the Scandinavian, I'd say, in the past 7 or 8 years. It involves actually trying to put the knight on c6 rather than the pawn. So let's go ahead and do this. I do have my queen out on a5, so I got to be careful. Very likely white's going to play a3 soon, maybe on the next move. I have some existing pressure on the d-pawn. You often see opposite side castling in this line too, so don't be surprised if I go this way. Okay, I've got the Wombat thinking, so this is promising. Yeah, let's castle. Rook e1 lines up with my king, so I want to bail from the center. And now there's already this pressure on d4, so it'll be interesting to see how white resolves that. Tick-tock. I'm going to be up a huge amount of time here. I already am. Neutrino's going to be playing a bullet game soon. I like that because I tend to get in time pressure in general, and especially when I'm playing blindfold. So the more time I have, the better. Yes, thank you, Riemann. We did not get a game today, Riemann, if you're Riemann hypothesis, but thanks as always for tuning in. Yeah, let's take. And I think probably taking with the pawn is the right call there. White took with the bishop, though, so now we bring the queen back here. And technically, white has enough defenders on the pawn right now. I have 3. White has 3 in defense. But watch for this knight to become a bit of a target. I have ideas bishop g4 or bishop e4. Becomes increasingly difficult for white to hold that d4 pawn as a result. Oh, thank you, Pat Goodson. Thank you very much. Yes, I look forward to this every week. Glad we're able to play some instructive games. You guys get in a chance to take me down, which Chef Master did. Also, Totoro got that draw. Congrats again to them. Okay, bishop f1, a little bit passive. Let's go bishop g4. This is what I meant. Introduce this pin. Neutrino's just not going to make it on the clock. Ooh, and g3, now the position, I think, is going to collapse as well. Let me think. Yeah, if I take right away, it's not working. So I could take and win the pawn. I'm just thinking if there's something better. I could also play like knight d5, maybe. It almost seems like white should lose more material. e5, also an interesting move. All right, let's play e5. I think normally bishop takes g4 would be just the way to go there. Safe move to win a pawn, but white's in such bad time pressure. I'm thinking about making it just a little bit sharper. There's this alignment. Rook lined up with the queen. Yeah. And the wombat is just not going to make it. Let's play rook takes d5 on the queen. And now I think e4. Go after this pin knight. That hangs the queen. Okay. White resigned. All right. Thank you for the game. Hey, Quarter Horse, I see you in the chat. Team Scandy, indeed. Just a tough line to face. But yeah, clearly Neutrino Wombat was using too much time. I've been there before. You start spending 30 seconds, a minute on a move. It's pretty much over in a 3-minute game. Team blindfold, yeah. Hey. If I could get anywhere close to this average centi pawn loss in blindfold, I'd be very happy. On a regular basis, that is. Two average centi pawn. I love it. And that's playing the scale. Hey, wait a second. Did Lichess auto-analysis change? Do you guys remember how it used to give d5 a dubious mark? I swear I did not petition Lichess to make that change. But the auto-analysis used to be very critical. Let me refresh. Oh, we didn't run it yet. It hasn't been run yet. Let's run it real quick. It's going to say d5 is the only mistake, isn't it? Might have something to say about e5 or something as well. We got to check this before we wrap up for today. Thanks again to Neutrino Wombat, and thanks again to everyone who challenged today in Lichess Plays. The analysis has taken a little while. Let me refresh. I don't know why the analysis is stalling for a second. It's usually quite fast here. Probably already did it. That's kind of what it seemed like because it was showing the average centi pawn loss, but did we break Lichess? Did we do it? We might have broke Lichess. Wait a second. Let me go to my profile and check it out. Analysis. I don't know what's happening. We're stuck in a vortex. It refuses to analyze the Scandi. Right. That's probably the case. On that note, that might be a good time to wrap up the stream. But yes, there are some openings. I think it does the same thing for the Dutch. I think it gives f5 on move 1 against d4, like a dubious mark. It says inaccuracy. Perfect game explodes Stockfish brain. Yeah. It was too much. It couldn't handle the flagrant disregard for chess opening principles, like bringing your queen out on move 2. We crashed the site. It can't analyze it without seeing the pieces. All right. Yes. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. This was a lot of fun, as always. Yeah. Hashtag Team Light Mode. Let's send it off. Avert your eyes. I'm about to blind you guys. You're going to see the light. And on that note, we will send it to someone. We're going to raid a streamer here. Thanks again, everyone. Looks like we're raiding Slaggy on Twitch. So appreciate everyone tuning in on YouTube and Twitch. We'll see you guys next time.